All right, I'm live. This was not planned. Hopefully, anybody who wanted to watch this is now watching it in the future. Hello, it's me, Queen Sensitivity, and I have been guided to do a live video today for the first time. I have also been guided to share about today. I actually recorded a video earlier, but Spirit said not to post that one, my ears, and to do this now instead. These cards are already pulling me towards them. Before I begin, I just want to say that today was so hard. All week I've been talking about time and how it's been so long and so short. And I've also mentioned in my video of messages on messages from the universe. Hello, my one viewer. Can I do like the chat thing? How do you do that? Okay. I don't know if I did it. I don't know. Anyways, all week I've been having like aches and body pains, like just feeling very achy when I move around. And today was the worst of the worst. It was so intense. There was nothing that I could do to like calm it down besides like completely give in to it. And as I did that, I was saying a lot of light language, which I might say today. So if you aren't interested in light language, check out now. Light language like that is speaking from my soul, and it felt very powerful and intense. And this was all happening as I was driving to work because I had to go to work. Before that, it was really intense, but I was able to sit. I was like so hot, burning up, and it was hard for me to like say messages that I was recording my video. I'm trying to like get you a clear depiction of what was happening, but basically it felt like I was like clearing through like a huge storm of like stuff just thrown at me from like everybody. Like all the people in the world were like on my shoulders. The wind just blew real big outside, and like I had to like be the representative for that. And I was so frustrated because I'm like, I'm doing all of this stuff and I still have to like work for a living. Like this, I don't get paid for all of this transmuting that I'm doing. But, then I just remember that, once all of this is done, we will be on to new stuff where we will never have to do this again. So, I just think about it like that. Like, once all of this stuff is cleared, then all of us will be living freely, and I won't ever have to worry about this stuff again. So that's how I put it. But listen, I was doing a lot of work today, and I just want to say shout out to anybody who has been doing a lot of work today. I've been very emotional. I had a nightmare like right when I woke up, and it wasn't even anything scary. I think it was just emotional, and I immediately like started crying. Like that was the first start to my day. And then like throughout the day, I just would cry from like different things that would trigger me. I was very, very sensitive today. And then it was just all this stuff pouring in on me. The only thing that I feel like kept me from like going insane was that I knew on a higher level that this was just a whole bunch of, how do I say, I guess stuff from negative entities, and also like negative thought patterns, our self-beliefs that have been out, like trying to be cleared through me, because I'm a transmuter. I transmute a lot of energy. I turn nothing into something. I turn lemons into lemonade. And so that like knowing is the thing that like kept me like, okay, I can do this. Like, so I can't see how it's gonna be okay, but I'm gonna keep on. And I just kept saying, Spirit, you gotta help me. I need help. I need help. I need help. Hey, Sunseas? Sunseas? Bonjour. I kept saying, like, I need help, I need help, I need help. Just over and over, like, please help me. And even today, so I live in Texas. It's hot as hell in Texas right now. Today the temperature was 101 degrees. So like even me sitting outside in the shade trying to like be in nature, I was just sweating. It was just so humid. I had to go inside. I couldn't even like go to nature. What does it say? Yes, very emotional day. I do feel like this is like the end. God, I hope it's the end, because I felt like that before, where it's been a day like it's like a emotional clearing day, and like I'm like, okay, once we're done with this, it's gonna be gone, and then 2 weeks later, it's another one. But I do feel like today was the last. Please let it be the last. I was like, I can't keep doing this. But the number 101 was very important. And so there was a point where the sky was so bright. I was like, it's so bright, I cannot take even the brightness. And I was sitting there at this traffic light, and the sky literally like got more shade. Like it's like a cloud moved immediately over the sun. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. What as I was saying that? And so I was very grateful for that. And then I was guided to drink a lot of water, and I'm so grateful that I was able to stop. And I was got to get this huge Fiji water. I don't know if you've seen in my other videos, I always have Fiji bottles. It's usually just water that I got from my house, because I like to recycle. But when I am guided to like get water from a store, I always am guided to get Fiji. I don't know if it's some sort of minerals in here that like they help, and they helped me today. I drank as much of this water as I could. And I think also being around the younger people at my job, the students, the babies, helped to ground my energy, because it was so hard. I felt like I was about to pass out, and I was just, like I said, it just added on to the frustration, because I feel like when we feel like this, we should be able to leave. We should be able to go home. We should have homes to go to. We should not have to worry about missing out on money. We should not worry about having to take care of these different things. When we feel this way, we should be able to have ourselves taken care of. And I don't like that the world is that way, that it's not. And it is changing. That's the reason why all of these emotional purges. So again, anybody who's felt this today, thank you so much, because you are saving the world by transmuting all that energy. That's what's going on. So now I'm going to pull some cards again, because I pulled some cards earlier. But I was so like, that it was like, I didn't even know. I watched my video back and I was like, so what's the message? I didn't even know what I was saying. One of them was this unicorn card. Unicorns have been like coming out a lot recently. Let's cleanse it first. What else about today? It was just so bright. And then the sky has been like cotton candy pink, like in the evenings. A lot of cotton candy. Black Mirror like launched today, the new season. Black Mirror launched today, the new season. Ooh, this one. And that's like, this one come out too. That's what I watched when I woke up. And I just feel like that's so on point. Like this is a Black Mirror episode. Okay. I think just one more over here. What do we need to know? Give me a little hot. Let's move this for now. Oh, a lot of stuff about ancestry has been coming up. And I feel one of the reasons why is because, as I've said before, time doesn't exist in a way that we believe it does, and that I always think it does. everything is always happening at once. And so if you've been feeling like your ancestors have been around, it's because they are, because souls don't die. We're all eternal. And so I feel like with all these cycles coming to a close and everything completing, it's just like they're here. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? How can I like describe it in a way? It's the way like some things take a long time to rot, or like some things never rot. And so if you like go back to those same places and dig up whatever you buried, it'll still be there. Like the time change doesn't impact it. And so it's the same way. It's like all that stuff is being dug up. And that's what I was feeling today. Ashikina ma'araki sorikina. Ishida. Clarify this one. Thank you. Yirikina sishiki. Woo, they pop it out today. There we go. One more. These are all cards by Stokes today. The bottom of the deck, we have this Medusa-like character represented by this hangman. It was in reverse. So I think that's the gist of what I've been saying. Like, the hangman is somebody that ties themselves up in a certain position in order to get a better view. And so it's like, for example, people passed on to like, you know, the next life or whatever, but they leave their physical body here on earth and they hang themselves, and that's a different perspective to look at, I guess, life with. And because it's in reverse, it's like they're no longer in that buried, to go back to my earlier analogy, they're uncovered now, and that's what's coming out. And I felt a lot of stuff keeps coming up about Harry Potter. Like, I think like how his parents would like appear in times of need. Okay, the first card we have is Summon the Reaper. You can't make this stuff up. I just think that's so funny. Summon the Reaper. So this is everything that I just said. This person even has like a time, what's it called? A time thing? A timer, a sand timer thing. And I feel like, and it's only a little set at the top, but I feel like Spirit is making a fool of death right now is kind of what I'm feeling. And all the things I feel like within us all that we've kind of like buried away and tried not to reveal even to ourselves and to other people is coming out. And that's how I felt recently. A friend of mine actually just said the same thing that I experienced. Like, you think that you like okay with somebody who traumatized you, or I don't know, somebody who broke your heart, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm fine. But then you like see them again and like it comes up. And this is why I feel like we are no longer able to hide. We're no longer able to keep things in the past, because the past is happening right now. I feel like I'm gonna keep going and like more messages gonna come out. The next card we have is Beyond the Veil. So more death. It truly is like this theme of like rebirth. Like, in order, before you can like rebirth yourself, you have to like go uncover the corpse of yourself and get those skeletons out of the closet before, I don't know, you go into the next phase, which I feel that we are. I know coming up, is tonight a new moon? A new moon coming up sometime. And then there's also a solstice coming up. What does this say? Oh wow, this was your exact screensaver, or one of them. I almost said string. I'm from the South. So sometimes my accent will come out and I don't say like proper English word. But yeah, this one says Carpe Diem. So I feel like that might be a message for your husband. What's it called? Like the seize the day type of vibe. That's your message for you. I just also saw the number 44. Um, but okay, yes, I feel like everything is coming back into balance, and like this is the theme about time, like making a fool of time, making a fool of death, because we're eternal and nobody really, dies out. The energy can't die. It's only us, with our limited perceptions and our limited level of consciousness that we perceive it to be that way. And we haven't had access in the way that we are naturally supposed to because of a lot of interference. What's another word for interference? A lot of fuckery, a lot of, I don't know, just assholes. Like getting in the way of how we're naturally supposed to be, and that's all being corrected now. And so again, it's like it has to be uncovered first for it to be full-fledged flown. Oh wow, death in the woman. Wow, summon the reaper. Is this a very strong presence now that you've said this with this person, this beautiful person? Okay, so it's clarified by the Knave of Wands. Beautiful. I think this is the Knight or Page of Wands. Look like this. Oof. And then we have the Star. So some pretty cards now. And then we have the Queen of Cups. So now I'm getting the feeling of something else, like on the other side, beyond this clearing out of death, this clearing out of old skeletons, this clearing out of things that we've all hidden behind masks, is like this shining light of the Star, because you have also the Wands, and then the Queen of Cups is all about emotional availability and being very forthcoming and open with emotions and emotionality. I'm also feeling something with this glass circle in the back. Okay. Doing a live is complex because I feel like because people are like interfering or I'm reading people's comments, it's like throwing off my natural flow. So I probably don't need to read the comments no more. But basically what I'm getting is like there's this rebirth of the Star. What's it like? I think it's something in Star Wars. I don't watch Star Wars, but I feel like it's something with like the Death Star or something like that. It's this feeling of like, oh, well, I know about stars. Once they supernova, like it's like two options, I believe. Like either it becomes a black hole or it becomes something else. Like it's the two options. And I feel like the after effect of this star coming to an end is this grand rebirth. That's what it feels like. And I feel like things are going to be completely different. I feel like everybody's going to be more willing to be passionate and take chances, because right now I know for a fact that a lot of us are afraid to take risks because we all need money to live. And so it's like you can't really play that much, in terms of your creative passions, because you have to make sure that you're coming back with some sort of proof from it. Or, we only are allowed to like chase our passions for a certain amount of time before like, okay, I got to get back into like the real world. Now I got to start like bringing in some money or something like that. Or even if, money isn't an issue, there's still this sense of like, I have something to prove to people. Like I've been trying to be a singer, for example, for like 2 years now, and I'm not, doing that well. So now when I go to the family gatherings, they're going to be like, what's your job? Like, what's your real job? I'm not going to have nothing to say to them. And so it's this feeling of like birthing a new world, ascension, new earth, blessed Gaia, there's a whole bunch of different names for it. And in this frequency, there won't be this hesitancy or fear of chasing our dreams, because we don't need to do that no more. Because it's this dragon like on top of a skeleton and using it as like a platform to start its roar. And that's what I feel is happening for us all. And then with this Queen of Cups, this queen is like turning around and turning their back on this cup that they've emptied themselves into. It's this feeling of like no longer needing to prove myself to you. I don't need to prove anything to you. I don't need to get you to agree with me. Like, I said what I said, and what I said I meant, and that's it. Because now, as we've been functioning, it's like you can have your own opinions, but I feel like we a lot of times have to not share our true opinions and how we feel in order to survive. Because it's like if you piss off somebody that you need to approve your health insurance, I don't know, your car insurance, you buy a car, your mortgage, you know what I mean? Or your lawyer, your doctor, your boss, your family member, like they can withhold something from you. And because we are stepping into our full true power and sovereignty, we no longer need to do that. We're free to be our true selves safely. Now, on the other side, we have two cards. The Lost Soul. Look at that green at the top. And then we also have Eternal Bond with these two unicorns. So once again, unicorns. And I talked earlier about how the sky has been looking very strange recently. This lost soul is grieving, and I feel like this is how a lot of us are. I feel, and I know that a lot, because I can feel it, all of us are kind of homesick and grieving for that love that I feel none of us has really truly received from one another or from within ourselves. That connection with source, which is love, has been, I don't know, a lot of tampering with that divine connection, especially I would say with the masculines. But in terms of the feminine, there is like this feeling of a real lack of support. And I feel like that wound is also what came up today as I am filming this live. That's what came up, like that wound as well. So also, so death, things that we hid, and also grief and that feeling of loss. It's this feeling of like, you know, when you're a child, you have so much faith in your parents or whoever is your guardian or whoever is your hero when you're younger. And something always happens where you get crushed and you realize, like everybody get like that slap in the face where you realize that like, oh, it's not as lovey-dovey and safe to fly as I thought it was before. And I feel like that lovey-dovey feeling, or I'm always going to be caught when I jump, that's the feeling of the mama, papa of spirit, you know, because spirit is both and all. So no really need for genders or whatever. But that's what we have. That's our parent, you know, that's our guardian. And it's this restoration of like, you will be caught. You will be looked after. You will be taken care of. It's coming from within us as well as outside of us, as expressed through our soul family and our divine counterparts. That's what I'm feeling. Like there's this need and this being seen through. Like it's actually going to be done where we will respect each other and give each other support, reciprocity, while also having that love shine from within and out of our own selves. If that makes sense, because you got to have it in order to share it with somebody else. And so it's like this beautiful like circle continuing is what I'm feeling. And that's actually the message I got earlier in my rambling video that I won't post about like being supported by your soul family, by somebody in the physical, as a physical expression of spirit or God's love for us being restored. And I love how each of these unicorns got like a little spark of light on the tip of the horn, whatever it's called. It's like that's what I'm saying, like we have that love, that magic, that spark of creation within us, and we share it out. And when we all share it out, guess what it do? It light up the night sky. Like when everybody at a concert and they put on the lighters or like the phone flash, it's like you share it outside of you, and then now you see it reflected out like from everybody else. because we're all one. And once we all start, you know, to share that, it will be reflected back to us. But like I said before, there's been a lot of interference in terms of even getting that light outside of us, and also interference in terms of us receiving that. And it's all being cleared now is what I'm feeling, what I'm being reassured with, especially with this green in the background, really representing like the heart chakra and earth. Clarifying the unicorn. We have another unicorn, which is represented by this moon card. It looked like it's like running on water, which is a reference to Jesus. And Jesus also is associated with rebirth, coming back from the dead. And also, it's this feeling, again, like Harry Potter. There was the unicorn in Harry Potter, and Voldemort basically used the unicorn to, like, continue his life, to be immortal. But it's this feeling with the unicorn, the one that's alive and vibrant in this imagery. It's like taking back your power, taking back my power as the magical being that I am, and let me show you how I can walk on water and how I'm still, you know, bombastic. It's just charting forward, because I feel like the moon card usually represents like anxiety and fear, but it's this unicorn. It's like taking advantage of this kind of quiet night, or these high intentions to like feed the unicorn fear, and then like I'm gonna take that same momentum to use it to propel me forward. And I actually posted a post on my story today of this person who was saying that there's a lot of negative agendas trying to push as much fear into all of us as possible in order to try to stop this from happening, even though it's impossible to stop this from happening. That's what I feel like is the message from this card, like trying to stop this from happening, even though it's impossible to stop this from happening. And I'm hearing now for like people like me who do not believe or have trouble believing that their divine counterparts are actually going to step forward and be honest and speak the truth without fear. I'm hearing spirits say that it is going to happen. It's impossible for it not to happen. Like it's that set. And I'm seeing now this reflection of this unicorn in the water, because it's like if one unicorn is running on top of the water, there has to be a unicorn running as a reflection to that. And that's also what I kind of said in my video messages on messages. Like when there is one created, there is two. And so if there is, and it's two here, so 22, if you've been seeing a number, and I also have 2 viewers and 2 thumbs up at this time, so it's another 22. That's, I guess, a sign that this must happen, and it is happening. It's impossible for it not to happen. 7 of Cups is that card that is all about like choices, choosing, choices. I don't really know what this means. What are you saying with this choices? I'll take this one. The Medusa Hanged Man. So I feel like with this one that's usually about picking from different things, it's this feeling of like no longer, it's about changing your perspective for one into a perspective of like, you can't go wrong. As I was saying before, we have a lot of fear about choosing things out of fear that what we choose will end up in us suffering or having to go into survival mode. And that keeps us kind of stuck. And it's like, well, if you change the perspective to thinking this is all a game and you're immortal, then you can have more fun with what you choose. But I think I am going to just get another clarifier. What do you mean by this one? This one? I'll just get one more. It's too many. I think I'll get from this box to clarify. S'il vous plaît. Where are you at? Where is that? My little selenite. Oh, here it is. Oh, wow. The card that came out to clarify it is the 7 of Wands. 7 is the number that I associate mostly with spirit. It's like a divine intervention. And so I feel like that's what it is. Like I was saying about this illusion of like having to choose. I saw a video, and I'm sure most people know this, but like the video was basically saying how you go into a store and it's like all these different brands, and they give you this illusion of like having to choose between like, I don't know, Lucky Charms and Cheerios. Like, which should I choose? And like you spending all this time like choosing between those two, and like who should you give your money to, who should you give your time to, and all the brands are owned by like the same conglomerate. It's this feeling of like we've been stuck in this illusion of like having to choose between these different things, because if you choose option A and you become, I don't know, a painter, then you'll be successful. And if you choose option B and you become, I don't know, a shoe salesperson, then you won't be successful. And you spend this time like choosing between these two. But as we all know, life ain't so black and white. You could do everything right. You know, you could do everything that the society says is right and still end up, you know, having to do things that you don't want to do in survival mode. You could still end up being severely unhappy and unpleased. So it's this feeling of like spirit rescuing us from these ideas. I'm hearing this one. Double mission, double duality, I just said too. Light work of Starseed, serve the world by being you. And so like it's this remodeling, reshaping our perspective of being you and having that relationship with your higher self, which is the divine, is the way that you're gonna reach that place of security. Because what's more secure than the universe itself? That's what I'm feeling. And also just getting rid of the idea even that you could possibly not be secure, because like the fear is an illusion. Like you'll always be okay. Okay? Then what's clarifying the lost soul card, the grief card, is the 5 of Wands. And I know the 5 of Wands is often about battle and competition and having to like this fight with yourself or fight with other people. And I feel like, with this grief card and like the feeling of like lost innocence, it's also this little rose, like this little rose then like spiked this person, like a thorn, then clipped her and this little petal is dropping. It's also that like old thing of like, do they love me? Do they love me not? Do they love me? Do they love me not? Like this not knowing. And I feel like this has also been really prevalent in our relationships because we haven't been being honest. And like I said, there's been a lot of interference in terms of like our fears that we hold in our beliefs, where we don't really know who we can trust. We don't know who we can rely on 100%. It's not no place to go where you can have that innocence, because like even me, like I'll end up hurting somebody from trauma or pain that I've experienced, or a jealousy or whatever, and I flick it on somebody else. And so, you know, you can never really let your guard down. You always have to have really firm boundaries. And it's like this grief of losing that kind of innocence and swapping it out in exchange for safety and security. And with it being clarified with this 5 of Wands, I feel like today what was happening was kind of like this battle between, I don't know, for that. I think I'll get more clarified on that as well. Please clarify the 5 of Wands. I was right. All paths lead home. In our authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. So again, it's this same message of like you cannot go wrong with anything that you do. But I also feel like with these external battles and this feeling of not being safe and not knowing who to trust and feeling kind of homesick for a home that you probably in this lifetime have never had, inner authority, I feel, is spirit asking you to reclaim your power in terms of you declaring that I'm not going to worry anymore and I'm not going to be stressed anymore about, I don't know, security of my job or food and thing, because it will be that I will always be provided for. Like having that inner faith. But But I also just feel like the overall message, I feel like Spirit doesn't want me to get too in-depth or complex with this. And there are 7 hedges in this picture. And I said before, the number 777 is really important, really connected to Spirit. The overall message is that all paths lead home, and we are home now. It's happening now. Okay? Any last minute messages about today's energy? I guess I'll get advice. Whew. Very, very strong today. Star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, and activation. So yes, we're all being extremely activated with lots of light codes. And I want to say something that's interesting. A lot of times when I tell like unfamiliar people are unfamiliar with the stuff that I'm talking about, especially people who aren't like into pick cards and stuff already, they'll like ask for like proof and all this stuff, and I'm like, the level of intelligence to like, and to be able to understand what is happening in terms of ascension on a scientific level, I feel would be extremely hard for an everyday human being, or even not even the everyday human being, to be able to comprehend. Like, I can't tell you the science of it. And this is an example, light codes, all the light that's been shot off the sun, all of the solar weather, all of the light, source light shining in is so intelligent that to put it in terms of science, I can't do that. And I feel like this is a message to say to you to don't underestimate the light codes that you are receiving, and to have a lot of respect for yourself at this time, because your body is so intelligent to even be able to receive these high vibrational codes. And I feel like a lot of rest is the advice, to lay down and also to try to be in as least resistance as possible. The next card that we have is Earth. I feel like learning how to be human in the world but not of it. This card just came out in the reading that I did yesterday. Messages on messages. But it's like this feeling of being grounded. I think water, because it looks like they're in water, might help a lot if you can go to a beach or a pool, something like that. But also kind of being in the world, but also kind of detaching from the world. And that's what I was saying. That's the only thing that kept me sane earlier, was that I knew that all of these things that I was experiencing, yes, of course they're real, but I was like, I don't need to take this too seriously because it will pass. And so when you're in, your everyday life, this is advice that I'm seeing, and things happen, especially things that you know are intentionally trying to trigger you, see them as that and respond to them in that kind of way, from that kind of perspective where you see the game being played, and so you don't have to feed into it so much. Like, you can play the game, but you don't have to like give it your beautiful attention in a way that you would have had you not known. Okay, so I feel like this is the last message. The unicorn is very important at this time. I'm hearing something about Oprah Winfrey. I don't know what Oprah Winfrey got to do with unicorns, but that's what I'm feeling now. And I feel like a message when I'm looking at this unicorn is that you are being led home, and you can trust Spirit to guide you. It's this feeling of like this, like, trust me, baby unicorn. I know what I'm doing, and I got you. And a huge theme is like this feeling of like going home, and then reestablishing of home, and the creation of a new home. Okay, that's it. Leave a comment, and thank you for watching. You're welcome to donate to support me, but of course, just thank you for being here, and I'll see you later. I'll see you next time. Bye.